The Richmond market is shifting. Buyer leverage is creeping back in, inventory is rising, and some price points and property types are finally starting to cool, especially in the condo and townhome segment. At the same time, new construction costs are being impacted by rising material expenses and builder pressures, which is making resale homes more attractive than many buyers expect. If you know where to look, there's real opportunity right now, even with elevated rates and evolving demand. In this video, we'll cover what's driving Richmond's market shift, where builders are quietly offering incentives, which property types are heating up and which are finally cooling, and how to navigate this market, whether you're buying or selling in 2025. I'm Holly Fye, a local Richmond real estate agent who works with buyers relocating from all over the world and sellers looking for a strategic approach to selling their home. I'm here to help you make smart, informed moves without stress or surprises. Let's start with the big picture. Prices in Richmond are still going up, just not at the breakneck speed we saw during the pandemic years. As of the first quarter of 2025, the median sales price for a single-family home in the Richmond metro area climbed $415,000, a 3.8% increase over the same time last year. Condo and townhome prices ticked up too, but only by 1.1%. At the same time, homes are sitting longer. Days on market rose nearly 19% for single-family homes and 17.6% for condos and townhomes. We're also seeing fewer actual sales. Closed sales, that is, dropped over 3% year over year, and homes aren't quite hitting those full list price numbers like they used to. Sellers are now receiving slightly less than 100% of their asking price in some areas. So what does that tell us? This market is no longer sprinting, but it's also not collapsing. It's moving at a much more deliberate, balanced pace. This is what a slow shift looks like. Keep in mind, though, RVA is a very hyper-local market, so some areas are still moving very quickly and for top dollar. Recently, I had 2 listings in a townhome community out in the Shore Pump area. They both had multiple offers, which were above asking and waived a number of contingencies. One was under contract in 8 hours. The other, the seller decided to wait until the end of the weekend to review offers, but we did have offers in hand by the end of the first day of showings. This is why it's really important to have someone who knows these RVA markets. It could make or break your home buying or selling experience. So one of the biggest signals of the overall shift is builder incentives are back. If you've toured new construction lately, you might have noticed something that's been missing for a while: flexibility. After 2 years of take it or leave it pricing, builders are now offering rate buy downs, closing cost assistance, and even upgraded finishes to get contracts signed if you know how to negotiate these bonuses. This isn't just a Richmond thing, but here it's especially noticeable in the condo and townhome market. New listings for those properties are up more than 9%, but they're taking longer to sell. Inventory for condos is up more than 30%, which means buyers suddenly have options again. And when buyers have options, builders bring the goodies. If you're even thinking about buying new construction, now is a great time to ask what kind of incentives might be available, because trust me, they're out there. Just recently, I was able to negotiate for a client an additional $40,000 towards design center or structural upgrades, as well as take the cost of solar panels, which my client was not interested in having, and use that to buy down their interest rate. So if things are cooling, why are prices still rising? One major reason is that people are still moving here. Richmond continues to attract new residents from Northern Virginia, DC, New York, or even parts of Southern United States. Why? Because for a lot of people, Richmond strikes that sweet spot. It's still relatively affordable. It has character, great food, walkable neighborhoods, a growing job market, and plenty of outdoor access. And speaking of jobs, large-scale development is a huge factor keeping demand steady. Think about it. We've got the new Lego facility in Chesterfield, the Wegmans Distribution Center in Hanover, and expansion across industries like healthcare, education, logistics, and tech. These developments aren't just creating temporary construction jobs, they're bringing long-term employment that pulls new people into the area. The bottom line, migration plus development. equals steady demand. Now let's talk about the people already here, especially the ones looking to buy. Because even though employment is strong and wages are steady, buyers are acting very differently than they were just a couple of years ago. These buyers are smart, they're strategic, and they're cautious. They have hopefully learned their lesson on using just any real estate agent and have taken the time to truly find the most knowledgeable agent and best fit for them. Interest rates have been bouncing between 6.5% and 7%, and that's enough to make people pause. They're calculating monthly payments, factoring in maintenance costs, and looking at days on market before making an offer. They're also negotiating more and expecting more in return. Gone are the days of bidding wars and waived inspections in some areas. We are still seeing that, though, in certain parts of RVA. Today's buyers are walking through multiple homes, reviewing comps carefully, and making offers that make sense for them. If you're a seller, this shift matters. You need more than just a for sale sign. You need a solid pricing strategy, great marketing, strong negotiation, and someone who knows how to find your ideal buyer in this market, not last year's. I was actually working on an ideal buyer profile earlier today for a client whose house we will be listing at the beginning of the next month. I will use that information to put together a proposed pricing and marketing strategy for my client. Now, let's zoom in on something important. While sellers still have the upper hand in some price points and locations, buyers are gaining ground in others. Take the condo and townhome market. Inventory is up over 30%, and the month's supply jumped by more than 27%, largely because of the many new construction options. That means more choices for buyers and less competition. If you're shopping in that segment, you may be able to negotiate things like closing costs, repairs, or even come in under asking price. And if you're a seller in that space, it's time to get real about your pricing and presentation. The market is no longer doing all the work for you. The single family home market is a bit tighter, especially in highly desirable school zones or price points under $500,000. But even there, we're seeing the tide shift little by little. So where does all of this leave us as we move through the remainder of 2025? The Richmond market is shifting, but it's not a crash. It's a recalibration, a rebalancing. And while that may not make for clickbait headlines, it's actually good news. It means more breathing room for buyers and a reality check for sellers who think that they could get more than what their house is worth. Based on recent data from Q1, we can expect inventory levels to continue rising, although not equally across all property types. Days on market are also expected to rise, with more listings hitting the market and buyers taking their time. It's likely we'll see average days on market push closer to 40 plus days by the end of the year, particularly for homes that aren't priced or presented competitively. With rising inventory and more cautious buyers, I predict price growth will flatten further. By Q4, year over year, appreciation could be under 2%, and some condo and townhome segments may even experience minor price declines. New construction in particular will be the space to watch. As construction costs rise due to labor and material pressures, builders are becoming increasingly aggressive with incentives to move standing inventory. Throughout Q3 and Q4, we anticipate strong builder promotions, especially for move-in ready homes that need to close by year end. If you are considering new construction, be sure you reach out to me so we can begin finding you some great deals. And yet, despite these shifts, Richmond remains a high-demand market, largely due to continued migration. People are still moving here for jobs, lifestyle, and a more affordable cost of living. I'm sure some of you have looked at the situation and felt like you'll never be able to afford real estate. But if it is important to you, and I think it should be because it is so vital to the financial futures for so many individuals, there are steps that you can take today to start setting yourself up for that future. Whether it's saving a little bit each month towards that down payment, or setting up a financial plan, or having a safety net in place for when something comes along and surprises you. Maybe it's as simple as getting your credit rating in good status, because that will make such an impact on the mortgage terms that you will get when you are ready. But my message to you is don't give up. And when the time is right, don't feel pressure. Don't let FOMO, family, friends, some doomsayer YouTuber, or some realtor convince you to buy at a time that it's not quite right for you. Now, I understand for some of you, it's going to be hard to listen to a realtor on YouTube because you might be thinking, you just want me to sell my home right now, or you want me to buy a home right now. You want me to take some action, but the truth is, I actually don't. In fact, for some of you, now would be a terrible time to buy. If you're going to be house poor, if you have job insecurity, I implore you, please do not let FOMO drive you to make some poor financial decisions. If you have a strong financial position, if you have a great job, and if you have the means, don't let that stop you from buying in a market like this. Everyone's situation is different. It's individual. And so if you'd like to explore yours a little bit more, I actually have a calendar link in the description below where you can book a time to chat with me as a home buyer or a home seller to get a no-pressure strategy session, absolutely free of charge, where I will take a look at your situation and help you decide if now could be the right time.